Good morning, everyone. My name is Tung, and today, together with my lovely colleague, who are Ngọc, Uyên, and Kim, we represent Team RMIT from Vietnam. Now, before we jump into our discussion regarding the case for Wealthfront, let me ask you a personal question. How many of you here have watched Terminator, the Terminator series? Yes, thank you. If your answer is yes, you resonate my feelings too. That was one of my favorite childhood movies. And why? Well, first of all, the vision of a future where robots take over in our daily life and it can be weaponized and it can carry out tasks efficiently. It is just very intimidating. But on the other hand, the one thing about Terminator 2 that makes the movie really successful is how it strikes an emotional note on the audience, where Terminator 2, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, made an emotional connection with the boy. And it's exactly what companies like Wealthfront, robo-advisory investment firm need to look into in order to connect with their customers. Not only look to promise a good, reasonable return, but at the same time promise to generate return in terms of funds for college educations or retirement plans. And with that, I'll pass my time over to Uyên, who will talk to you more about the current situation going on with Wealthfront.
Thank you, Tô. So as a consultant team, we want to introduce the overviews of the case. At the present, Wealthfront its growth is slowing down, and its leading position is in danger. So as a consultant team, we expect a better future for Wealthfront, which is regain and sustain the leading positions. So how to close this gap between the present and the future? We welcome to you two proposed strategies, which are Bionic and B2B, which will be presented in more detail by my colleagues. So how about the analysis? Wealthfront, we want to preview the main idea about Wealthfront. Wealthfront, its positioning is a software company, not a financial institution like some people mistaken them. Its pricing models, just like other software companies, which is create the value for their customer and charge a small fractions of those value. And last but not least, its target market is the techies who are currently working at the tech companies. At the present, Wealthfront is facing a very intense competition with a lot of competitors come from within the country and outside the country. Some of the outstanding competitors are Betterment, Personal Capital, Future Advisors, and others advisory company. So compare in terms of the AUM, assets under management. Wealthfront is currently have $5 billion, which currently is in the second place compared to the competitors. However, their management fee, which is to 0.25%, which is the lowest compared to their competitors, which enable Wealthfront to give their customer a very competitive price. However, their consumer acquisition cost is the largest compared to their competitors, which is $1,000, and their competitor is less than. So it very disadvantageous for Wealthfront in order to reach to more customers. So in terms of the human advisors, Wealthfront and other advisory firm is the only firm that do not provide human advisories. On the other hand, Betterment provide the human advisors, but only for premium users, and Personal Capital and Future Advisor give the human advisor for all users. The last criteria is the range of service. Compared to the competitors, Wealthfront currently has the widest range of the services. However, compared to their competitors. So as you can see, in total, Wealthfront has as the leading competition, but they have not the highest AUP AUM, and their customer acquisition cost is rather high, and they don't provide human advisors, which human advisor can create a customer bond, which may increase the customer amount for the company. So, which leads to the ultimate result, that is Wealthfront growth is slowing down and their leading position is in danger. So as a consultant team, we propose to Wealthfront the two strategies which will be presented by my colleagues.
Thank you, Kim, who go through with us very thoroughly about the analysis of current situation of Wealthfront. So before we propose any strategy, what is our overall objective to gain before the strategy? Firstly, we want, as mentioned by Kim, we aim to get the strategy through AUM, the acquisition cost, as well as the human interaction of Wealthfront. So our two objectives is increase asset under management, as well as mitigate the high cost of customer acquisition. So that by these two objectives, we are able to regain and sustain the leading position of Wealthfront. So I will go through with you the first strategy called Bionic, and my colleague will go through with you the second one. So what is Bionic? We come, as the name goes, we come through this strategy with two purposes. Firstly, we want to improve the human elements in Wealthfront services because, like my friend had mentioned, the human touch and the trust between the customer and the service provider is really crucial. And secondly, we want to mitigate the cost by implementing optional product pricing in our strategy. So more specifically about Bionic. So Bionic, you may already guess from the name, is we will offer the human advisor feature for all of our service offerings. And this one, we will create the value by they can choose the option to choose the human interaction online or at their house. And with that value we create, we will charge the additional amount. How this charge will go? Let's have a look. So for currently the normal rate of Wealthfront is free for the lower band of less than 10,000 investment fund, and with the above 10,000, the charge is 25%. So for our human elements, for those who are already enjoy the free service of advisory, we will not offer this one for the free band. And we will have these additional elements for those invest above 10,000. And in this 10,000, we divide into two bands with additional another 10% as well as 15%, 0.1 and 0.15. Excuse me, my error. So add up into 0.35 and 0.4% of the service fee. By this implementation of Bionic, what is the change and how this impact our company overall? Firstly, the HR department have to recruit and train a completely new sales force in order to come to your house, in order to serve the online hotline, as well as to have a performance tracking of the new force through the online portal. So this function, the software we provide have to accommodate this additional tool as well. And how this will affect our charge? So for the advisory department already take care of the robo advisory firms, advisory service. The sales force will be under this main component because they will operate dependently on the robo advisory they receive. Firstly, the customer approach you by robo advisory. As well, if the option go, the allocation will be through digital real time, as well as updates, as well as allocation of the sales force. So that is the impact of our strategy on the overall structure of our organization. So what about our second strategy? My partner will go through with you.
Thank you, Noah. So now before we jump into my second strategies, we need to build a foundational understanding of why we need it all. While recognizing our strong point as we have established relationship with technological firms by basing our location in Silicon Valley, we also right. So, but also we have to recognize some of the negative that we have is that our asset under management is currently experiencing stagnant growth. So it is imperative that we need to provide an opportunity for companies like tech firms by partnering with them and providing technologies like single stock diversifications for their employees, so that options and stocks are based on option and performance-driven compensation, such as options and stock for employees of these technological companies, can have a diversification to strategies to hedge the risk associated with possessing these stocks. And with that, we can magnify the growth of our asset under management and at the same time provide value for our partner institutions. So next, what is the process of this? Well, first of all, we have to, the first step in my second strategy is business to business. We have to establish, and the first step is to gather. We need to establish connection with technological firms in Silicon Valley through trade shows and personal selling. Next, we also have to tailor our products and services to provide automated single stock diversification for each partner institution. And last but not least, we'll provide these services for employees who sign up for this. This has been proven before. An example of Twitter, where 10% of their 3,000 employees sign up for this service, and they have significantly hedged the risk of stock price fluctuations in Twitter stock. And for the locations, as I mentioned before, we will take advantage of our current location in Silicon Valley through our partnership with technological firms in this location. And the duration for these strategies will be carried on for 2 years. So next, having gone through all the particular details of our two recommended solutions, my partner Win will go through with you some of the cost impacts and timeline evaluations.
Thanks, though, for your introducing of the two strategy. So, to ensure the successful implementation of the two strategy, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the implementation timeline. So currently, we are in June of 2017. Firstly, we will consider timeline for the first strategy, which is the Bionic, which is the additional human interventions in our company. So within 6 months from June of 2017 up to the start of 2018 will be the intent development. We'll recruit and train employees together with, we will have the tracking of the performance. So after this 6 months from the start of 2018 up to the June of 2018 will be the trial period, where we'll try to receive as many feedback as possible in order to improve our service. So from the middle of 2018 up to we will officially offer the service. So finishing the timeline for the Bionic strategy, the second strategy, the B2B, will implement it for 2 years. So from now is June 2017 up to June of 2019. So this is considered as a short-term strategy compared to the Bionic strategy. Finishing the timeline part, it is essential to evaluate the cost of the two strategy. Taking into consideration the assets under management of the Wealthfront of $5 billion US, the first strategy, the Bionic, will account for 8% of the AUM, which is approximately 400 million. So the expense can come from the recruitment and training, which is approximately 100 million, together with the marketing, about 100 million, and finally is the coding expense, which are estimated at 200 million. So how about the cost How about the cost of the B2B strategy? The marketing will make up for 15 million, while the discount offering for the employee within the partner will be about 200 million. So the total cost of the second strategy will be about 115 million, which make up for about 5% of the AUM. So that is all of the cost. Now moving into the evaluation, the impacts. So if the two strategies are successfully implemented, we will achieve those key impacts. The first one is we can reach more high fund customer, the medium to high fund customer, around 1 million customer more within our implementation timeline. Secondly, we can reach more partnership employees, about approximately 500,000 employees. So if we've implemented two strategies, the Bionic together with the B2B, so here we are in 2016 with the AUM of 5 million. If we don't implement the two strategy, the AUM will be 12 million estimatedly in 2018. But if we implement a strategy, the AUM will increase by 3 million up to 15 million. So moving forward, the 2019 figure will be around 20 million AUM if we implement our proposed strategies.
Now, to end our presentation, let me bring you back to the original mission and core business model of Wealthfront. Wealthfront prides itself as a company that minimizes human interaction and increase cost effectiveness and efficiency by using automated investment strategies as much as possible. But is that a correct approach? So let's think about the original questions that I asked you. If let's say you are investors, and I ask you how much returns you want, maybe your response may be wired toward more emotional questions like, if I invest in this, will I be able to afford my kids' education? Will I be able to afford my retirement? So these emotional responses need to be wired in. There need to be a human touch to a portfolio management company like Wealthfront. And it is thus with this in mind that we need to recommend an approach whereby not only automations need to be taken into consideration, but also a little bit of human touch where we provide human advisors for our clients so that they can buy into our services. And in addition, we also need to leverage our position as an established software company and not just a simple financial advisory firm, to take advantage of that and establish our connection and partnership with other technological firms in Silicon Valley. And with that, I conclude our presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and I welcome any questions you may have for us.
So actually your suggestion is to add some human touch, just like our competitor Bionic. So my question will be, then what will be the difference between ourselves and Bionic? Because I'm just following what they're doing.
Thank you for your question. So to clarify further, you want to ask about the difference between our strategy when we implement with our competitors. Yeah. So firstly, for us as a Wealthfront, when you already have a strong core at the IT technology and a firm establishment, it's different when you have a human touch as additional feature, whether as a core value like Betterment. Because Betterment believes in human intervention when we really believe in the flexibility of IT and robo-advisory services. First is between the core value, and secondly, when we implement additional feature, that also cover for us the high cost of acquisition of the consumer. So it's also cover and will further establish the competitive prices when we buy the optional product pricing. We will bring down the cost further for what Wealthfront.
Okay, Tim, now you at the beginning you have done the analysis of the business operation environment, and you tried to, and then as you said, Wealthfront was originally a software company, right? That's why it's focusing on techy things. So are you suggesting that with your proposal that Wealthfront has to change its position or strategy from the robot thing to the robot plus some a little bit of human connections? I emphasize on that because I understand that from your Bionic proposal that you tend to recommend to do a little, not just a little bit, a lot more with the sales force to follow through after, if the client has got interest in the robotic investment advisory. So it's quite a change of identity of the company. Have I got it wrong?
Thank you for your question. Firstly, we are not going to change the identity of the company. As I already mentioned, so the sales force will go through two channels. Firstly, will online channel interaction on the website as per normal, like the robo advisory service. And second channel will be home if as requested. So that is a more optional and the minor branch of our so-called sales force, because we also offer online and hotline interaction. So the people say, oh, when I want to have someone to answer my question, we are here, we are there, and not only like the robo advisory service. And next, the software, as I already mentioned, in the sales force, we will still under the software of robo advisory. So that it's just a complementary add-on to what we have. And furthermore, for the as a software company, we also have like digital real-time update as well as the allocation within our company. So the software is still the core strength and the core channel for all of the interaction, both with customer and internal company.
Okay, thank you. I understand that you try to, the company try to create, deliver, and capture more value. Want to have the best of both worlds, the robotic thing as well as the human thing. And that in a way will impact on the structure of the company. You have highlighted about the money needed to recruit, all right, and also in the B2B scenario, you want to give a lot of performance-based driven compensation to their partners and company employees, that sort of thing. So would it end up that Wealthfront has become, because neither here nor there. Somebody, I don't know whether you have a software company or simply a traditional one, or married in a modern robotic context. Is Wealthfront distinctive enough to differentiate its services from other competitors from now until 2019, for example?
Thank you for your question. It's actually a very intriguing question because it comes up a lot in our discussion. Because Wealthfront, the market for robo financial advisory has been relatively new, if not incredibly new. And it says that we cannot really determine what composition of human elements as well as automated elements need to be blended together to create a really perfect products for our customers. So by providing, my colleague suggested, by providing a little bit of human touch, it is like a complementary features to really understand our customers, which bracket of customers, whether it be lower than 10,000 asset under management US dollars or over 10,000, which brackets really love that features. It's also as try as we it's a try as we go scenario where we have to learn about our consumers' behavior through that features, and also if that can carry out in the long term, we can implement that services in the long run. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
A quick follow-up about the B2B short-term project. You just fix it like 2 years, and your team hope that it would work out. What if it didn't work out? What are the parameters for you to measure success, at least short-term success or proof of concept? Why you choose 2 years?
Our original thought of putting in 2 years is based on precedent, because one of the strategies that not really strategies, but one of the initiatives that Wealthfront carry out is for Twitter, where it allowed Twitter, when Twitter initially had the IPO, initial public offering, there has been a lot of concerns about massive unloading of their stocks to the market that would lead to drastic drop in their price share, and as a result, their employees at that time might have incurred that loss too. So companies like Twitter, who are undergoing IPO or who are exposed to a lot of price share fluctuation, need to have that tools where they can diversify the risk for their employees, and also at a reasonable cost. So as a service, we really think that Wealthfront and by extension B2B businesses, our B2B approach will allow companies to reuse that tools within 2 years to really to craft, to tailor our, because developing software is understanding the stock performance and the complementary assets that we need to put in place to diversify that stock is may take some time. So in terms of development and tailoring a specific software features for a particular company, that may take to our estimation around 6 to 8 months. And also we have to put in additional time to measure the performances of the software and the platform that we put into place for these businesses, and that combined together give us an estimation of around 2 years.
The two recommendations that you have, Bionic and B2B, are they mutually exclusive, or do you believe there is some overlap between them?
I think from our point of view, it is mutually exclusive, because B2B, in terms of reach, we have two core group of customers. One is for business and the other is for personal consumer. So by tackling both at the same time, we can create more, greater penetration to our potential customer base, and also at the same time create, and that also means that we can generate more asset under management to really catch up with our key competitors, which is Betterment.
Okay, makes sense. I asked the question because the B2B customers, as per our understanding, they do not like the human intervention that much. The tech companies, employees, they do not want that much. So your recommendation makes sense. Can I ask you to put on the AUM slide where you were working out the expenses based on AUM assumptions? 8% of 5 billion. So this cost estimate that you have, is it like a one-time initial estimate, or are these, I mean, by their very nature, they seem to be recurring costs which would be incurred every year, right? So what is it? Is it like a one-time estimate for next few years, or is it per annum?
Thank you for your question. For this cost base, this will be for per annum. So when we launch out, that will be the cost we expect for per annum of launch. So this will be time.
So this one can be combined with the timeline slide before. So this one will be accounted in our trial period together with the intense development period of the first strategy, Bio, and the second strategy, B2B.
And depends on the reaction that we receive from the customer, the cost for the second year may be different when we can review on the AUM as a total, because this is based on the percentage that we make. So that if the response is really good, and so we can manage on that percentage for the second year.
That's why I asked the question, because it's based on 5 billion, while your next slide was on AUMs rising. So that would mean that your costs would balloon as the AUMs are rising. And the follow-up question is that, is there like any plan to control that? Because your presentation was based on 400 million and 250 million. But if AUMs rise to 10 billion or 20 billion, these costs would become, 2 or 4 times. So are there any plans to mitigate that impact?
So thank you for your question. So you are asking us for a way to mitigate the cost further. So by a successful relationship with a B2B, so we can have we can ask for their support to the service that to the local advisory course that we currently have. So for in the technology side, and furthermore, we can also seek fund and loans if the response is really good, so we can cover the cost further.
So besides we extend our loan, we can, as a quite popular company, we can issue debenture, and we can internally generate the fund in order to finance the two strategies.
And any thought to expand the company's business outside of the United States, taking into account the sales force or the factory?
So, excuse me, can you
But any thought to expand the operation of the business outside of the United States? And in addition, you want to have some human element that might impact on your consideration.
Thank you for your question. So for the human element and for the expansion, so based on the development, so this will be our piloting period. So if we aim to expand through either merger or acquisition, or we can expand with collaboration with another firm, for example in Asia. So that sales force will be customized and per region, not and we will train the staff in Asia specifically for each region. So before expanding out, that's implementation of Bionic will also customize and transfer to different markets.
So what is called?
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Sorry for the brief term, but actually that covers for the IT cost, for the human HR management for Bionic, as well as the interaction among within the robo advisory service. So that is the more of IT cost.
One final quick question. Why do you have higher percentage fees for higher volumes while the competitors have the opposite?
Thank you for your question. We already take that into consideration because this is different pricing model that we already developed, where our focus is like on the lower band of the investment fund. So we still keep the free for those young startups, tech savvy, less than $10,000 US, where our focus lie on. And for the other, that is where we can seek more funding and cover more costs for us. So the focus of two of us we will stay with the focus of our current of Wealthfront.